to the Nick and Matt podcast. It's been an eventful week, both for us at work and for some football news. So I think Matt mentioned this, and I went, "Oh, do you really want to go there?" And I thought, okay. So what is it, Matt?
PSR. Man
Profit and
City.
sustainability rules.
Yeah. Man City.
Yeah, I thought this is dangerous territory to be walking into, but
Who cares?
it gives an opportunity to learn a bit more what's happening. So
Well,
tell me what did you hear during the week?
I heard, we all knew that they had like 115 allegations against them, but a
Yeah,
couple of things is that, and I don't know the sources, as in like it's still coming from the media. One said it could be done in a couple of months. The next said it could be dragging on for the whole Premier League, which I
season.
read
I
about.
mean,
Yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
tell Premier League for 100 years time. But yeah, and then I looked into it.
What
You've
did you
looked
find
into it.
inside? Oh, yeah. Well, because you were going to mention, it, I thought, well,
Yeah.
better look like we know a little bit about it. So,
Well,
what did you find in that treasure trove of a minefield, should I say, rather than a treasure trove? It'll be treasure trove for the Premier League if they manage to convict them, but it's
there's
still actually, I must say, this is a caveat or caveat. These are all alleged offences.
yes,
Nothing's
alleged.
been proven yet,
Yeah.
has it?
No, not at all. And to be honest, uh, how I look at it, it's no smoke without fire. But we're not solicitors. We're not involved in any of this. We're just reading from the media. And to be honest, they could be. Well, we know what the media's like. So, yeah,
Well, they love a
100.
good story.
Yeah, and they can stretch the truth as well and make a few
Okay,
things
so
up.
how many instances or how many um, cases are against Man City?
Well, 115, 54 of them. Well, actually, do you know what? I'm going off memory here. I've written a few notes down, but certain ones are about not filing their accounts to the Premier League on time. Uh, what else was there? What was that? That was 50. Failing to provide accurate records. That was 54 accounts to the Premier League. You go,
Yeah,
how?
that's one of the main ones. That's one of the
Yeah.
main ones. Yeah, and that's
And
been from 2009 to 2018.
yeah,
So it's
what else was there? There was failing to work with the league from 2009 to 2018. I was going to say 15 then. 2018.
right.
And
That's
there's
the non-cooperation
yeah.
breach, well, which I think they have 4 to 5 breaches per season on that alone as well. So you can see how the numbers are being adding up, huh?
Yeah, but then looking at it, I'm still in the dark about it because I said this to you. I think it was last night that how many of their players? About 7 of their players. So basically, the PSR rule is they're not allowed to go 105. That trying to be cool. 105. This is when I fall off, right? 105 million. You're not allowed to make more than 105 million loss in 3 years, right?
In a 3 year, yeah, that's
In a
right.
3 year period, right? And it started back in 2013, which I never knew. I never had a clue about. Anyway,
Yeah,
7 of their top players last season earned over 100 million, right?
right, okay,
That's their wages. That was their wages. So
yeah.
I don't understand how. And I'm useless with tax.
No, did you say in the last year?
Yes, that was last season.
So
So
that's not even over 3 years. That's in the last season itself. So they must have some pretty horrific expenses to try
well,
and some pretty fantastic gains. So you obviously have to balance the books, don't you? So
but then look at it like this: the Premier League every year they get 180 million just from the TV
TV
rights
rights,
alone,
yeah,
and I heard somewhere that technically you don't have to charge spectators to come in and watch the game. You don't have to because they earn that amount of money, but that's neither here nor there. Looking at the wages, coming back to that, Foden is on 11 million, well, just shy of 12 million a year, right? And then that was like the bottom half of the 7 that I was on about just now. Then the top half, sorry, which is De Bruyne, right?
De Bruyne.
De Bruyne, yeah, right. Kev to his mates, right? He's just shy of 21.
What?
21 mil.
And here I was complaining back in 1990 that John Barnes was earning £10,000 a week.
Scandalous. Barnesy.
I was scandalous back then. I was like, 10 grand a week. Who earns that?
I know. Well, I've been watching a lot of clips on YouTube, not YouTube, well, wherever on social media, and some of the lads were like, "Yeah, I got 400 a week," and that was back in the late 90s, the late 80s, early 90s. 20 million. 20 million.
21, yeah. Yeah, so what's happened is that the charges have been broken down into 5 main groups, and you've mentioned 2 of them. The first one was the not providing fair and accurate reports, which financial information accurate reports, and that was between 2009 and 2018, and that roughly equates to about 5 to 6 breaches per season. Then there's a more of a technical one when Roberto Mancini was there as the manager, and he had something going on in Qatar with relation to image rights payment. So that's just a smaller technical one. But the one thing I found was interesting was that the Premier League, sorry, not the Premier League, some of the other breaches were not following FA, UEFA, and FIFA rules.
FIFA?
And it's so what happens is that in the handbook, in the Premier League handbook, there's they have to by not providing accurate accounts and having the option to qualify for Europe.
Yeah.
So it's basically they don't do that, and because every club registers for UEFA competition. Obviously, if you're in Premier League, you've got the chance to qualify for Europe. So you wouldn't be a club coming into the 24-25 season and then halfway through realize, oh, we're doing quite well. We better register for the UEFA competition. If you're not registered, then you don't actually qualify.
Yeah.
In technically. So yeah, that vision of accurate reports has also gone onto another level in the UEFA and FIFA and stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting. That was something you don't hear that much about. And yes, breaching the EFL, the Premier League profit and sustainability rules, and like you said, the last one, the non-cooperation. So that was that's 4 or 5 breaches, and not providing the Premier League with what was needed to kind of work with them.
Stalling, they were stalling.
Stalling. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, stalling the process. So this is why it's taken so long.
Yeah.
Because there's been something. It's gone back so long, and this is why. So this is why Everton took long as well, but that was just bad accounting. So when you've got all these things and you've got points deductions and you've got this current season, if you delay it, then it's going to affect other clubs that could stay up or so
that was another thing that was brought up. If they do get found guilty, they said it can open a few gates for them to get sued by those clubs.
Messy, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
This is why I thought I said, Matt, do you really want to talk about this?
Yeah, because it educates me.
It's fascinating because there's a lot of stuff we're not across, but the fact is that it's interesting because there was talk about changing the rules.
Oh,
To change the
suddenly,
rules to make it easier or fairer, or maybe expand on the amount of money that can be that's spent over three seasons. So the Man City allegations are hardly anything about to do with that, the expenditure over the 3 year course.
yeah.
It's mainly those two big issues about not providing fair and accurate reports and the non-cooperation, which is the two big ones.
Okay.
But if you change the rules, and the fact is the rules, each Premier League club gets a seat on the board, and basically it's the 20 clubs that can change the rules. You need a two-thirds majority, so you need
Yes.
14 clubs to agree to changing the rules. But if you change the rules now, if you make it more flexible, then they're also letting the likes of Newcastle, who have seemingly unlimited supply
Yes.
of funds through the Saudi fund,
Yeah.
um, to then take advantage of that. So I guess it's
Look at look at it.
bit of a mess.
They've clubs have been doing it for years. It hasn't really stopped big money transfers to a certain degree, has it? I
No,
did
it's
hear.
right. Well, look at Chelsea and Man City. It hasn't. I mean, Man City have been winning it, so it hasn't really stopped them. But
No.
Chelsea as well. Not that
Well,
they've won anything recently, but
what was I going to say? I was going to say you look great today, Nick. That's what.
thank
After a
you, thank
bit of
you.
memory loss like that, that's the only thing I could come
That's
back
right.
with.
Do you like my background? I've got my two flags. I thought I'd just change the background today.
Yeah.
So answers on a postcard. Which flags are these?
Uh,
Yeah, answers on a postcard, my friend. Have
yeah.
fun.
No,
Yeah, look,
yeah.
it's a complex matter. It really is, and I was sort of like, um, but the hearings are going to start middle of September, 16th of September,
Okay.
and
That's not
it's
far off.
expected to run for 10 weeks.
Oh,
But
yeah, a couple of months.
but it will probably drag on for longer than that.
Mm.
But Man City are basically saying, look, we've done everything, we've done everything that you've asked, and we are 100% sure that we haven't breached any rules and regulations. And so they're thinking, well, so they're obviously pleading not guilty in court, so therefore it's an alleged breach, not a breach. I think a lot of times we tend to forget that.
Well,
So we'll just wait
at
and
the
see what happens.
yeah, at the moment, they're saying they didn't breach anything. But going back, I did a bit of research, and I don't know why I didn't know this. Back in 2010, they got fined by UEFA, them and Paris Saint-Germain, 60 million each for that was the FFP, the fair. I've got to look at this financial fair play rule. So they got done for that as well. Back then, they actually turned around and said that they pleaded. No, they didn't plead guilty. They said they disagreed with the interpretation of the rule. Uh,
Right.
Now that that's everyone. I got caught drinking and driving. Yeah, no, I'll
I was
put my
going to
hand up.
mention that.
I'll pay the fine, but I disagree with that interpretation. I only had 4 pints. I could have had five. Do you, know, you imagine saying that in court? It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
If that's the rule, that's the rule. It is.
yeah. But I think I didn't actually look into that. Did they get let off in the end?
No,
Because
they
that
paid it.
wasn't their thing. Oh, you weren't allowed to compete in Europe. But then shortly after, they were back in Europe anyway.
Yes, they got 2 year ban, what I remember, but I think they got let back in. Yeah, that bit was a bit hazy. I'm not going to lie, but look, they've got a lot of money to throw around. I'm surprised Barcelona haven't been done for
Barcelona is another
anything.
matter, another podcast. I can tell
Yeah,
you a few things about
uh,
Barcelona.
yeah,
They've been well, yeah. I won't say it.
well, no, I'll say it. They're funded by the government. What I heard is that true? Technically, not
They might
funded, but
have Catalonian government funding and support, but I mean they're funded by
Yeah.
the members first and foremost. They have a unique membership structure.
Okay.
Them, Real Madrid, Osasuna, and Athletic Bilbao were the only four clubs that didn't have to turn into a sporting limited, limited company. But in Spain, it's called Sociedad Anónima Deportiva. All the other clubs had to turn into that limited company structure.
Okay.
But because of the way those four clubs are run, they had a slightly different way of doing their finances. But yes, I'll look into more detail. I can certainly find out what's happened with Barcelona, but Barcelona are in big financial trouble. They're just keeping afloat at the moment, and they're doing up their Camp Nou stadium in Barcelona, and that's obviously costing. So that's another podcast in of itself.
Well,
going back to Man City, I think it was interesting that Pep Guardiola said that if I find out that Man City had been lying, then I quit. I leave the club. So he said that a few times. Confidence.
I didn't know about that player coming in. Oh, I didn't know we were spending that amount. I didn't know we were spending that amount of money. I just turn up and I just sweep the changing rooms. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll go out there now. It's like, yeah. Hello, that's me. No, mate. They've got to know. They have to know. I'll be shocked. I'll be very shocked if he didn't know anything. He's got to know. They've got to know the money, haven't they? He's the manager. He's got to know. Well, we've got. I don't know. So, like I said, with all this PSR, they can. I think you said this. They can offset. That's the idea, is offsetting stuff, isn't it? If they've had, renovations, if they've had a new stadium, if they've had this, if they've had that. So I think Crystal Palace got away with something last year because they offset.
Really? I didn't know.
Something like that. It was something that I heard. I was listening to a YouTube channel walking up to the shops last night, and I heard something that they could have got in trouble, but they offsetted something. So please comment below, because as normal, I'm probably wrong.
We know nothing.
Yeah, just make up. Wait, hold on. Put the Google away. But do you know what I mean? I still want to know. I still want to know about this. I genuinely do, because I don't understand it. But like I said earlier, the tax system confuses me. So accounting, I always set my alarm clock every morning for 6:30, and I still get up for 10. That's how bad my counting is.
Yeah. Anyway, look, unfortunately, I think it's gonna drag on until 2025.
Yeah.
And okay, so my next question is in relation to the financial fair play and the profit and sustainability rules. Is that what will be the punishment to Man City?
They got to change their kit to red.
I mean, look. And I would say any financial punishment is pretty much not going to really hurt, because there's a lot of financial backing behind the club. So would the punishment be points, or would it be stripping of titles?
Juventus. That's all I'm going to say. Juventus. Look what happened to them.
2006.
And look what happened. They got pushed down to the lower leagues and they shot straight back up again.
They did. There was talk of them going to Serie C, which is the third tier of the Italian football, and instead, in the end, they got to Serie B. Because let me just go back to Man City. The 10 weeks is just the normal trial period, but that there's going to be pushback. There's going to be appeals. There's going to be counter claims or whatever. And so this is why it's going to drag into 2025. No problem at all.
They're gonna pay for very good solicitors, aren't they? Very good accountants, but obviously they weren't that good because they've done. Yeah, lawyers, solicitors. They're going to do all of that, so they're not going to be daft. So they're going to drag it out. I'll be shocked if they just went for it.
Do you know what I was thinking? I was thinking, I haven't heard this anywhere, but I'm thinking, is this a cultural thing that in the Middle East is even if you are knowingly doing something wrong, that you would deny it anyway? I mean, I know it's a human condition, but I mean more so culturally where you would you would say, no, 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 we're doing everything right, putting up this front, but maybe it's a cultural thing where admission of any wrongdoing is very shameful in that country. I don't know.
But
Do you
mate,
think
look,
so?
no,
I just thought about it the other day. I'm thinking, could that be the case? Because you know how Everton, well, mostly Nottingham Forest will say, look, yeah, we did sign 200 players in our first year of the Premier League,
yeah,
and we overspent. And there was a statement, and they just got on with it, kind of. Although I think they did appeal, didn't they? Or was
don't
that
know,
10 points or 6 points?
don't know.
It was,
I think it was six
but
points. I'm sure it was six
it was six
points.
points. Well, I think Everton was 10 points first, and then they appealed, and then they got it reduced to six. But
Yeah.
they were hit with the second lot of points, and I think that was 2 points. Because what happened was that they got the first points deduction from the last three seasons, and then they had another 3 season thing where they got given 2 points, I think. My numbers, yeah. But in the end, they were going to appeal, but because towards the end of last season, they were doing quite so well, so they decided, with 4 or 5 games to go, so look, we're not going to appeal. Um,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
know, yeah, I remember that. Remember that. Well, that was with Sean Dyche. Yeah, he managed to get them firing in the end.
It would
Um,
be good to see what does go on because we'll just see how much clout City bring. Uh, it, does money talk really? We'll soon see. Uh, because yeah, they're a force. They're the new force in the footballing world. We had Manchester United, we had Barcelona,
yeah,
uh, we had Liverpool many years ago. We had Forest many years ago. Do you know what I mean? We'll soon see how they go, how they fare up. But
yeah.
it'll be very funny in Manchester to see them go down 2 divisions. You imagine,
Well, they've been
imagine,
there before. They've
yeah,
been there before.
yeah, but not when you've got a team that's worth 100 million. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, but I mean, it's attractive. We played against Bristol Rovers
oh,
and Lincoln City.
I used to play for a team called Paul Borough, right? Admittedly, I wasn't first choice. I was on the bench, but most games in the Dorset League, we would win 5 to 10 nil because the caliber of players were that good in the Dorset League. They were trying to get in the same league as Poole Town because there was like a split, and myself and my brother played for them first season, and I was talking to you last night or the night before, and that's where I played. Well, that's why I played under and played under Pete Morrell and Paul Morrell, both
Our brothers.
both Bournemouth lads, uh, and. Well, Pete played. I don't know how long Pete played for Bournemouth, but I know Paul played for quite a few times. But yeah, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is just for the fact of when you've got a team of a great caliber team of any league, when they're put into a lower league, they're just going to run riot. It's just they
Yeah.
turn up. Imagine they
Yep.
just turn up and you go, oh, here we go.
Do you know what? In the early 2000s, I can't remember exactly when it was. I think it was, when City were in the equivalent of League One, whatever it was called back then. Um, every team that they played 110%,
Mm,
because it was Man City, and I think at the time they were still at Main Road. This is before
yeah.
they moved to the Etihad. And I do remember during that time, whether it was the chairman or a board member or maybe just the manager, saying, every team that plays us are just giving their all because they know it's their one and probably only chance of playing at Main Road
Yeah.
against City, against a big club, especially if you've got the Rochdales and Stockports and
Yeah.
Rotherhams and stuff like that. So yes, so that even though they were supposed to, smash every opposition, they didn't win, as many games as they thought they were going to. So fortunately for Manchester City, they're only in League One for one season, because that is a very difficult league to get out of. You've got a lot of games. You've got 24 teams. You've got 46 games in that season, plus all your Leyland, DAF, and Milk trophies, and all those other cup games, whatever they're called these days. And
Leyland, DAF. I think they've gone
well,
under.
yeah, the Zenith data systems, and I mean the Johnson Paint Trophy.
Anglia
all
Windows,
Auto Glass Trophy. Yeah, I mean, so you've got all these fixtures as well. So it's a tiring league. I mean, Premier League, you've only got like 38 games as opposed to 46. Plus you've got all your your what do you call it? The promotion. So you've got your playoffs and stuff as well if you reach that top level. So yeah. So we're going to find out a few more things during the next as of mid-September onwards.
Yeah.
And we'll see what comes up. See what they tell us anyway.
Yeah, but everyone who's listening, tell us. Please comment. Let us know in those comments below. We need a bit of feedback on this. If we got this right, if we got it wrong, is there any more that we need to talk about?
Let us know what you think the punishment should be if they are indeed found to be in breach. I know it's 115. I think it's coming up to 130, basically, with all these other stuff. So yes, there's a lot to get through, and this is probably why it's taken so long, because they just had to collect them and put them in a document.
Well, I know what a great punishment. I said it earlier, but I don't think you heard me.
No, I didn't. Sorry, I'll have to sack my hearing aid.
That's right, mate. No. Yeah. The punishment should be they need to wear red for a season.
Red. They half do some of the black and red strip, from last season or which season before last.
Wow, mate. Well, it is. It's what happens. They brought a rule in. They've stretched it a little bit. What we can see or what we can hear.
Yes.
I wonder how many other clubs are flying close to the radar. Flying close.
I would say a fair few.
Yeah.
I'd say a fair few. A fair few are watching and waiting, because when you sign a player for £50 million, and get a 5-year contract. I've just made it 5 years. You were laughing. Why is that?
Because I imagine someone going, right, it's 50 million. Right, what can we offset that on? Carpets. We need new carpets. The kit boys need new boots. How much are they? 50 grand for the boots. Okay, right. I could just imagine someone going, oh, we need candles. We need candles in case there's a power cut.
Go out.
In case that betting syndicate comes back. That's what.
Yeah. So when you pay 50 million quid for a player, that 50 million isn't in one hit. It's spread over the life of the contract. So obviously you've got 5 years at 10 million each, and depending where you are, in that 3-year, that 3-year financial fair play period, that's when it starts. But then when you actually sell a player, the money that you get from that player is automatic. So you don't. That's called amortization or something like that. I'm not much clued on the actual.
You just made that up.
Strategies and these systems, but so you've got this this cost that you incur, and you can spread out, but then any money that you get in is bang in one hit. So this is why sometimes when you get sales of players and stuff like that, when you talk about they've got 30 million up front and then 10 or 20 million in installments or condition based, that's probably why they're trying to make sure all these costs fit in and spread out. Maybe, I mean, that's just my guess, but so that's why you've had a lot of we've had a lot of that over the last few years, and that's probably why, just to try and spread the expenses over a long period of time, or if after 20 games you play for the new club, then you get an extra, 10 or 15 million quid or whatever. I
Yeah.
think it's all based on in the contract world. So,
And is it rolling? So it's got to be a rolling thing. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, say, right, from 2021 to 2024. That's that window. It's got to be a rolling thing, hasn't it? So obviously, do you get
I
what?
have no idea what you mean by
No,
rolling.
okay,
I've
sorry.
heard of
So
rolling contracts. All I think is a rolling.
sub. No, what I mean by that is it's like, okay, so we got to check it over 3 years. They've got to keep. Yeah, again, it's accounting. It's accounting 101. You've just got to. It's like tax
Well,
years. Do you know
I'm
what I mean?
not
It's like
even. I'm not even a great 101 accountant. So, yeah, just make sure we've got enough at the end of the month to last. Cool.
yeah,
Anything
first
else you
world
want to talk
problem.
about Man City or any other clubs you might want to see might be on that
Nah.
radar?
Well, I don't know, mate. They're all, like we said earlier, they're all going to be on that radar, aren't they? Because one of the things I heard on Talksport was that they've heard that the chap, he sounded like Andy Gray, I can't remember his name, right? He said that he heard that there's certain clubs that have their own PSR man or men, women, children, whatever,
Yeah,
whoever they're employing, to look after the books. But then
yeah.
speaking to the guest, he goes, "But it's not hard." And then as he explained it, I was like, I tuned out. I
Yeah.
was like,
Was he dressed in grey? He had a
yeah,
grey cardigan on.
yeah, yeah. No, I was. I was like, oh, I still
Technical,
don't get
isn't
it.
it?
Yeah, just I.
It's not that easy. It's not that straightforward. So yeah, so you just gotta, and like there's expenses, but I mean expenses are still outgoing. So
Yeah,
expenses when you
yeah,
buy a player, and expenses you got to upgrade the terrace. That's an outgoing. So I think Everton had an issue with their cases because the stadium funding they structured it in a different way than it's normally done, because the Premier League normally encourages stadium funding to improve the spectator experience,
yeah,
and it's also a money drawer for revenue. So that's, but the way Everton did it was in a slightly different way, and it wasn't exactly according to the rules. Now I don't know exactly how they did it or what they did, but this is some of the other stuff that was coming out about Everton anyway. So
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, mate, it's so,
Now you notice you've got these flags here,
yes.
and I just wanted to show, because I know I love showing shirts and stuff, and this, my friend, is an Asian Cup 2019 Uzbekistan. Was an actual Asian Cup
Wow.
2018. So this was play. Don't ask me to pronounce this.
I,
But
I think they just made that up. That looks like the same train
yeah.
station in Wales.
Sorry,
That's the train station in Wales that has got like 24
it,
letters.
it does. It does. Let me see if I can say it. It's Tukhak Kurchiaev. Yeah.
Oh, that
So
well-known player.
this is a defender.
Okay.
And yeah, this is one of my favorite shirts. This was given to me by a good friend of mine, Alim
Okay.
Arifov, from the Uzbekistan Football Association
Right.
in 2019.
Why do
So
you support them? Yeah.
I am very much in. Yeah, I love the Uzbekistan national team only because when they came to Australia for the Asian Cup in 2015, it runs every 4 years. It's just similar to the the Euros, but here
Yeah.
in Asia Pacific. Got a ticket for the Uzbekistan North Korea game, and I was fascinated with the Uzbekistan
Hold,
history, the Silk
hold on.
Road.
North Korea. Have they got a team?
They have a team. They have a team. They have a rock solid team. 1966, North Korea won, Italy nil.
I bet
They
their
forced
team
an
now
upset.
their
Sorry.
team now only lasts about 20 minutes because they're not getting fed properly.
Oh man.
That's another one. Ooh, very
Oh yeah, moment.
controversial. We'll cut that
I'll
one
have a
out.
word with Kim.
Sorry, mate. Go on,
No,
carry on,
and I
carry
tell
on.
you what, the experience was absolutely out of this world.
Yeah,
I said it before. I was fascinated with the culture and the history of the Silk Road, Marco Polo. You have
yeah,
these
well,
great
yeah,
cities, Samarkand and Bukhara and Khiva, and just this amazing country in Central Asia. And and so yeah, I was hooked straight away. And we had the capo, as we talked about capos last week.
yes,
The
yes,
capo for Uzbekistan is Abdurakhman Fazilov, and he was a lot of fun. He was directing everyone else, and one of the guys on the drums was Shovkat Imamov. Also, he's the main drummer of the Uzbekistan supporters. But not only did you have him, you had a whole row of drums and stuff, and it was just like a massive party. And you can imagine what happened when we scored 1-0 against North Korea, and it was like a massive festival, and I just had the best time. And that's why I've decided to support the Uzbekistan national team.
okay. Nice, mate.
In the thing, I think it's great because when we were buying tickets, I bought a ticket for Australia Oman in the Asian Cup, and then it says spin the wheel and support a second team, and I think, oh, okay. And then I thought, well, I don't need to spin the wheel because I knew who I was going to support. I was going to support
Yeah,
Uzbekistan. So, but yeah, no, it's a great fan base, and they're passionate fans for sure.
cool.
Oh man, um, yeah, we've all got our cups of tea.
Yes, yeah. A
Cheers.
little quick break. Yep.
Have a nice
Cheers.
Bristol Rovers cup there.
Do you know I haven't got any football mugs?
Well,
I haven't got any.
shame on you.
I've got Star Trek.
That's not football.
It's even
Oh
so.
man.
It's
So
it's
I just
even
wanted to let
shaped.
eh?
It's even shaped like
Oh,
what they were on the actual Next Generation. I got bought that from my uncle and auntie.
wow.
Nanu morph.
Was that a Klingon salute, was it? Or
Vulcan. So,
Vulcan? I don't know. I'm
and
not
Nanu
I'm not a Trekker.
and
I'm a
Nanu
Star Wars
Nanu
guy, not
Mork
a Trekker.
was what's it called? Mork and Mindy.
Oh, Mork and Mindy,
Yeah.
yes. I remember that. That was yeah, I don't remember. So I was talking about shirts earlier about my
Yes.
Uzbekistan shirt, but I have a special announcement to
Go
Auckland
for it.
FC fans. I have my new Auckland shirt, so I thought I'd
Let's have a look.
show people. So let's have a look. It's as you know, it's a
Okay.
blue and a
Yep.
blue and black, and here is my Auckland Auckland FC shirt.
So they were also sponsored by Focal Point Fires in Ferndown.
I'm not sure if I did a good job on the badge. Comments in the description. I spent all morning doing that. That's the closest I'm going to get to an Auckland FC shirt.
I thought you had a
Why am I
shirt.
talking about? Sorry.
Thought you had a shirt. I was getting ready. I was like, oh.
I tried to get in touch with Auckland FC several times via several different channels, social media channels. They have on their website, you can choose the sizes. I said, well, how about a size chart? Because all they did was say our athletic sizes are a slimmer type size, but that doesn't give me the option to be able to measure and go, okay, I reckon I'll be you know, this size or that size. So I asked them, can you put a size chart or at least put a link to New Balance website for a size chart? And no response at all. So I'm thinking, well, you might have lost a customer there. So I thought this is why I'll make my own Auckland FC. So I'll be round the park next time playing with my Auckland FC shirt. Hopefully the
Brilliant.
logo doesn't fall off.
Hopefully it doesn't rain.
Hope it doesn't rain. Actually, yeah, it's laminated on one side anyway. Yeah. Oops, it's come off. Oh dear. Let's stick it back on.
Here's one I made earlier.
Here's one I made earlier. So yeah, that was
It fell
we'll have a laugh.
off. It fell off. That's
I'm
funny.
still
It's
recovering from
laminated.
a chest cough. That's why I'm coughing too much. So Matt, last weekend,
Hello.
you, I,
Yes.
you, myself, Colin the pilot, and
Colin the
Taxi,
pilot. Nick the Greek.
the four of the band, were at Cheers Bar, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
And what
Uh,
we were watching.
we were watching the Bournemouth and Forest game. We were, and we had the Forest. We had Glenn and his mates behind us, didn't we? So that was good.
Yeah, his. I think they signed a whole load of supporters to come to Sydney. No, I'm just kidding. Um, uh, yeah, we were outnumbered, weren't we? Quite quite
Oh,
quite substantially.
but who got the better seats?
Yeah, you pointed it out. So
Keeping those
keep
eagle
an eye on
eyes
those
on. I was
seats.
like, there it is, run.
As soon as the Leeds fans left, straight in.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
So yeah,
So
so what do you
yeah.
think of a match
Where do I start?
at the
Okay.
beginning?
At the beginning. Okay. Let's take it back. I genuinely thought, okay, we'll take it back to the stats. Did you know that possession was Forest were 55 to our 45 of possession,
Okay,
right?
good for them.
I yeah, I genuinely thought that it was more. I don't know what
Yeah, I
game I
thought so.
was watching. I genuinely I was watching a different game to the stats. I've got
I
half of
reckon
them.
I reckon first half would have been a lot higher.
Yeah, yeah,
First half
maybe. Yeah,
possession.
that's true. Yeah,
Maybe they
they
sort of leveled out a bit, but
we didn't have a midfield. Their midfield was so much better. It was just they they had shape. Their midfield had shape. They were running. We were losing. I thought we were losing the ball a lot. And like I said, looking at the stats, I genuinely thought that it was a different game from what I was
right.
watching. I genuinely
Yeah.
thought that uh, Semenyo, apart from the goal,
Yeah.
I know
Semenya
he's.
was out of position. He's
Yeah,
he's not he's not a centre forward. He's right wing.
I know.
So, that I understand. When I saw him at centre forward, I meant, okay, maybe
Yeah,
just Andoni's just trying him out, waiting for Edilson to get up to speed with the fitness or whatever it is, and then he'll go back to right wing. I don't know.
yeah.
But I mean, you made some really good points. We seem to be
Lacking in
non-existent in the
midfield,
midfield. Yeah,
nothing. There
because
was nothing.
you control the midfield. You're going to control the game because you've got that barrier there, and you've got the go backwards and forwards and able to manipulate the game
Yeah,
with your number 8 and your number 10 and your wingers, and so you've got and we weren't. So like second half was
a
better,
lot
wasn't it?
better.
Obviously,
Yeah. One thing I will say, Nick, it's not like when you can watch a game and it almost seems like that they've got one extra man more than
did it
the other
seem like
team.
that? Did it?
No, no, it didn't. But
Okay.
no, but why I brought that up was like it's not like we were outclassed. I just don't think there was shape in the midfield. Neto can't
Oh,
catch.
Neto. Okay. Look, he
What
made
was
a
it?
he made a brilliant save, but I reckon
He
Travers would have made
did.
the same save.
Yeah, he was good,
You
but
know,
I just thought some of the silly things that he could have. They're minor
I reckon. I
things.
tell you what, I
Minor.
reckon Travers will be in goal for the Newcastle game.
Okay.
I reckon.
Oh, a plus, a massive. Well, saying that, Neto, he only let one goal in, and we drew. Right. It's not like we can turn around and said, "Well, it was 4-0." They still kept themselves in it with not disorganisation, but just how they played. They still kept themselves in it, and we still pulled a point back. Semenyo's goal. He was there, and it was like he was just waiting around. He just went pop, and that was it. That's all he had to do, and that's
A goal that
saved the
you could have
game.
done it at Paul Bauer or,
But
or in the park.
mate, it had just been like halfway mark for me. Pop.
Yes.
No, but on a real plus, I was so happy with the new boys, Dean and
Especially Dean Husson, your favourite player.
Yeah, no, mate, he was, and we spoke
great
about this. They were both the two lads. I can't.
Araujo was great as well.
Yeah, clinical. They were both clinical.
Very good.
I found that those two did what was needed. And they couldn't have played any better. Do you know what I mean? Because they did everything that they could and everything they did do. Where the other lads looked like they just sort of pushed it a little bit too far. And I don't know.
I'm not sure why Christie didn't start, because Christie seems to give Bournemouth the shape in the midfield, the organisation. Christie and Cook are the perfect combination for the midfield. When Christie's playing in midfield, the team seems to be more in control, more settled, and everyone knows what they're doing, kind of thing. I don't know. What do you think?
First game of the season, mate. Maybe the gaffer thought,
exactly,
do you know what?
Right, first game.
He might have turned around and said, right, do you know what? We're going to try this formation because at the moment we're just lacking and we might need to just see what these boys can do. Forest, they're not exactly Man City. So we could probably test it a bit more.
They're not Man City. I thought.
No, you know what I mean. They're not one of the top five. So he's probably testing still.
Yeah.
But
all right.
Let's put it this way: a point is better than a loss.
Well, yeah, a point is better than none. Yeah.
I'm very
negative
on the
road.
Yeah, I'm very negative. But to be honest, on the plus side, I thought that the new lads were amazing. I genuinely did. I thought you could not fault them.
No, and they were aggressive, attacking in their, in both their positions and stuff. So I'm thinking this is a great fit, because then they'll play that pressing game, that attacking, that rock and roll football. So yeah, they're absolute perfect. So let's hope we don't jinx it for the Newcastle game.
Can I ask you something?
No.
I'll be your best friend.
Okay.
How was the commentary, Nick?
Okay.
Do you want me to start?
It was loud on several fronts.
Yeah. I'll put this in. I've got no problem with this. Yeah, admittedly, where we were, it was loud, and we could have asked them to turn it down a bit. But
could have asked them to turn down the volume. But that wasn't for me. That wasn't my biggest issue.
Or mine.
And the reason I say I wear hearing aids and sensitive to really loud, high-pitched noises. And unfortunately, as much as I respect Jackie Oatley, the commentator, who's the main commentator on that game, whenever she shouts a goal, it just blows my eardrums, and it's actually quite painful for me. So I'm going to ask Jackie, could you maybe just tone it down a bit when the team scores, any team scores, just to, oh yes, it's rather than screaming to the top of your voice. It's just that it just breaks that sound barrier for me anyway. And I did try to turn my hearing aids down, and it still didn't work. So I mean, Jackie's quite experienced commentator, and pretty much commentated every level of the game. For women's football, she's signed by NBC. She's a freelance journalist, and she's great at her job.
I found her flat. Mate,
I'm not pretending that she's not.
Yeah, no, I found her quite flat for that game. I don't know if it was the environment that we were in or what, but I said to you, I said, who was the other fella? And you went, the other commentator.
The one and only Efan Ekoku.
But you said to me, you went, was there someone else? and the funny thing to that is, that's how I found the commentary. And it's not the fact of, and we've spoken about this, and I'm about to bring up something very controversial, which
when you say that we've already spoken about this. It sounds like
but it's, no,
an old couple. We've spoken already about this.
You some chips tonight, darling? No, it's just the fact.
Are you being at Jackie Oatley again?
No, not at all. I look. I spoke to Tan about this because I said she was flat. I said I just found her flat. I found the commentary flat.
First game of the season.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even yeah. They've got no excuse. All the referees, right? But and I said it, and Tan said it back. She goes, yeah, but then it's not about being male or female, right? It's if it's flat. Because I said, look, I've got nothing. I don't care if it's male or female. I couldn't give two hoots as long as it's exciting. And I don't know why I felt it flat. Yeah, I found it flat.
Exciting, insightful, informed, maybe a bit quirky. You know, something different.
John Motson. That's all I'm saying.
What?
It's not John Motson. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yes, yeah, that's all I'm saying.
But it's.
I was just going to say, there was an instance where I think some Bournemouth scored, and then after the first initial spike in decibels and stuff, and then continued to talk and said, "Oh, they'll be happy about that." I'm thinking, of course they'll be happy. They just scored.
Yeah, you know? We looked at each other.
Who wouldn't be happy about that? So say something different, like, you know what I mean? Like,
they'll be happy about that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But Efan Ekoku is an old Bournemouth favourite. He was signed in 1990 for Bournemouth. Nigerian, but raised in England. I think we signed him from Crawley Town or Sutton United. One of those two. I always get Crawley and Sutton mixed up. For some reason, I don't know. They're probably in the same area. Comments.
Please.
Say, no, they're not. One's in Show, one's in. Sorry. We signed him, and I think I only noticed, even though we signed him in 1990, I noticed him in the 91 season. He was fast, man. He was fast. I think his brother was a sprinter or something, and he could have been. He would have been a sprinter as well. He was really fast, and I think we had a song for Efan Ekoku. So if anyone remembers the song for Efan Ekoku, but he was brilliant. I was kind of disappointed when he left. We sold him. Bournemouth sold him to Norwich in, I think it was 93, 94. Which back in those days, any money that we could have gotten for any player was a welcome boost, because we were always strapped, running low on finances. But he went on to play for Norwich, and he scored. He scored the first player in the Premier League to score 4 goals, and that was against Everton.
Wow.
And he's also the first African player to score a hat trick.
Wow.
So he was sorry.
Whatever.
Yeah, but, it's just saying. He didn't score many goals per season. He probably would score like between 12 and 15 per season. But when he had a good game, he had a good game.
Yeah.
Then later on, he was sold to Wimbledon for £1 million from Norwich City to Wimbledon, AFC Wimbledon. No, Wimbledon FC.
Yeah.
So so I've got good memories of Efan Ekoku. I remember watching him live, and pretty much every fortnight at least, if we didn't travel with the team. So that was a good memory. So finding out that he had to commentate next to Efan Ekoku, I just hope next time that they put a warning sign, if the next time Jackie's putting commentating, say warning, you might need to wear earmuffs or something.
Yeah, mate. I don't want to. I'm not trying to badmouth or anything like that. I just found it flat. It might have been this. I don't know, mate. It might have been where we were. It was that loud, but I just didn't. I wasn't. If they'd have turned it off, it wouldn't have made any difference. Do you know what I mean? For me, it sounds really bad. Like I say, and I don't want to be. This isn't a male-female thing, because, like I said, chatting to my missus, and she said, and I said to her, I said, look, when we listen to the athletics and there's a female commentator, it's great. They're doing their job. It's not. I don't find it boring. I'm just.
Yeah. hopefully it's just the first game of the season.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just really loud. And like you said, combined loud atmosphere and the decibels that, even by turning the hearing aids down, it didn't make much of a difference. So yes,
yeah.
there you go, have it. So we've got a full weekend of games coming up.
We have,
By the time
yes,
this comes out,
yes.
half seven of the 10 games would have already been played. So I reckon maybe as a regular thing on this podcast, maybe we just try and predict the results.
Yes,
What do you reckon? All right. So
I'm on for that.
um, I'll go first for one match, and then you can, and then you go first for the next match. So I'll just rattle them off. So on Saturday at 12:30 UK time, we've got Brighton versus Manchester United. What do you reckon the score will be for that?
Well, at the moment, Brighton's top of the table.
All right. So what do you reckon the score will be then?
I reckon, mate. I look the well. Where are they at the moment? Man, you didn't do too well last season, as how they should or how they would be.
Are we going to
From
get a commentary for every single game?
sorry, mate. Okay, I reckon. I reckon 2-1 to Man U. I do.
Really?
Yes.
Really? I reckon 1-0 to Brighton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I reckon that's interesting. Cool. All right, then we've got Palace versus West Ham, and I'll go first for this. Um, I think Palace at home will be too strong for West Ham, so I reckon it's 2-1. 2-1 to
Okay.
Palace. What do you reckon?
Okay. Yeah. No, I'd go with that round about the same way. Do you know what I mean? 2-1, maybe
2-1 as
two
well?
nil. Yeah.
Okay. Fulham versus Leicester.
Leicester's
What
just
do you
come
reckon?
up.
Yeah, I know
That's it.
that.
No, I reckon that'll be a draw, mate. I reckon that'll be a one
Yeah,
all. Yeah, one
one
all.
all. I
Yeah.
reckon it's going to be 2-2. A draw as
Ooh.
well,
So
but
you
2-all.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
written mine down. I've written mine down already.
Have you? I reckon it's gonna be a
Yeah,
very easy, even game.
yeah, yes. Same here. All right. So talking about another even game, we've got Man City versus Ipswich.
Mate, you never know. You never know.
All right. So you came first in that one. Fulham Leicester. So I'm going to go first. I reckon that's going to be 5-0 Man City.
Ooh, that good.
Why not? As a yeah, right. Okay. Financial fair play. Right. 5-0. What do you reckon?
3. 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Next we've got
reckon.
Southampton Forest.
Right, I
What do you
reckon
reckon?
Forest is going to do that one. I reckon
You
Forest
reckon?
has. Yeah, I reckon Forest is going to do
Is
that 3-1.
Glenn paid you to say that?
He's actually on the line now. Glenn, no. 3-1, mate. I reckon it's going to be 3-1.
3-1 to Forest. That's
Yeah.
Forest away.
Yeah, I still
Southampton.
reckon. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I reckon,
Yeah.
mate.
I reckon. Look, what have I written down here? I put 1-1. 1-1. Southampton 1,
Okay.
Forest 1.
I think for
All right,
after
next is
look.
your favourite.
Sorry, hold on.
Your,
Sorry, mate. Coming back, I think looking how Forest were, I reckon they're going to dominate.
we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Sorry. Go on.
No. As much as I'd love for Southampton to lose, I
Yeah.
reckon
No.
it's going to be. I reckon it's going to be 1-1 for me.
Okay.
Cool. Spurs versus Everton. Your favourite team. Spurs,
Yeah.
Everton.
They've got to
Um.
pull that off, haven't they?
Hey.
They've got to pull that off, Spurs.
All right. So what do you reckon?
Mate, I reckon that's got to be 2-1. They've got to pull that one off easily.
I put down 2-0 to Spurs.
Okay.
All right. So then at 5:30, we've got Aston Villa, Arsenal.
Mate, that's got to be 3-0. I reckon 2-0, 3-0, something like that with the
To who?
mighty to Arsenal against the mighty Villa.
Right. I put down 2-3. Villa 2, Arsenal 3. I reckon it's
Ooh.
going to be a couple of goals, you know, and the odd goal will win it.
Okay. All right.
Right. So now we're switching to Sunday at 2 p.m. We've got the mighty Cherries, AFC Bournemouth versus Newcastle. What do you
I,
reckon? Oh, you went first on the last one. So I reckon,
yeah.
you know what? I reckon it's going to be a 2-2 draw.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a win for either team. 2-all.
Okay. Well, oh God, okay. I was going to give it 1-0 to Bournemouth.
1-0. Okay,
That's just
that's
being
fine.
hopeful.
Yeah, I don't know. I first game at home, Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
The price of the 125th anniversary kit at £125. I'm thinking, oh, too much going on, too much going
Yeah.
on. So I reckon a 2-2 draw.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay.
um,
Yeah.
got two more games. The same time, 2 p.m. is on Sunday. Is Wolves at home versus Chelsea.
Yeah. No, I
Nah,
reckon Chelsea, that's going to be a 2-1, 3-1 maybe. 2-1. I'm going to say 2-1. It's
2-1.
a
I
lot.
put 3-1. I put 3-1 to
Yeah.
Chelsea. Wolves 1, Chelsea 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And last is at 4:30 on a Sunday is Liverpool versus Brentford.
Go on. What do you think?
I think it's going to be 4-1 to Liverpool. I
I
know.
can't see them losing, but yeah, I'd have said somewhere close to that. Maybe 2-0, 3-0.
Which one?
Yeah. I'll go. Okay. I'm going to go 3.
3-0?
Yeah.
Okay.
3-0 to
Because
Liverpool.
at the end of the day, next week, we'll just go over these score predictions and then
give it a
whoever
couple of.
wins, whoever wins at the end of the season gets my Joey Barton Bristol Ravens mug.
Give it a couple of weeks of us being totally off. We'll be like, scrap that.
Scrap this part. Scrap this part. We don't want to do this again. Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that was good, mate.
But it's
No,
exciting the Premier League's back, isn't it? Because
yeah,
I know Glenn, for example, from the Forest lads. He's a very much an England national team and following
yeah,
England abroad and stuff. Like his book we mentioned. I think it was 2 weeks ago.
yeah,
But for me anyway, I'm very much a club over country person,
yeah,
and I do like the fact that you've got every weekend you've got something to look forward to for the best part of 3/4 of a year,
yeah,
and then of course you've got the relegations and the European places and stuff like that. So that's what makes the Premier League exciting. All European leagues have those things, but yeah. So
Well, I think it's got me doing this podcast, mate, with you. It's got me back into it because I was away. I was away for a while because I've just never had time to look at it. Or better still, I've had other stuff to do, and I've gone, this, that, and the other. Coming over here to Sydney and knowing you's got me back into watching football a lot. So now,
back into
and now the Premier League started. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm with you. I'm like, it gives you something to watch, gives you a bit more motivation to enjoy something on a Saturday night at 12 in the morning. Like we did for the game. It was 12, wasn't it? 12 in the morning for the last game. Oh, hello. What's going on? We have a technical hitch. See, I could say anything now.
well,
He's
yes,
back. He's
because
back.
he's back. I can still hear you. My internet connection was unstable. I heard every single word you said.
Did you? Oh, I can say anything I want now.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard you say that.
I was.
No, no, it's good.
I thought your facial expression was a little bit too like. They're just too long. I was actually, do you know what? Because I knew we were going to do Zoom today, I was going to start recording and then start just going. That's what I was going to do. Oh, 21st century, mate. You'd have thought we'd have been in flying cars by now and internet would have been seamless.
Yeah, and moving around on hoverboards. Back to the Future.
88
Yeah.
miles an hour, mate. Yeah, where were we? Sorry, before that glitch. What happened?
No, we were just talking about Liverpool Brentford, the fact
That's it,
that
yeah.
the Premier League is back
Yep.
now. We've got something some predictions, maybe see if that works. Maybe you can work your magic and have the score and the ding 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 at the end next season next podcast. Who got what
Goal!
results?
Yeah. Get the board out.
Board or the ball. I kept forgetting to.
Oh, you keep bringing the ball,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. My AFC Bournemouth Umbro
Oh,
ball. That
okay.
was. I won that on an online competition
You
a
did,
few
yeah.
years
You
ago.
told me.
Yeah, yeah. They sent it from Manchester. So there you go.
From Manchester, a Bournemouth ball from Manchester.
Yeah, well, that's where Umbro is based.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought,
Yeah, it's
do
an
you know what I mean?
Umbro competition. When they
Oh,
said I
okay.
won, I'm thinking, is this for real? Anyway, I did. There
I
you have
was
it.
actually, mate, I was actually looking online this morning about the original Mitre Delta or Mitre Pro Max balls that they used to use in the Premier League. Talking of footballs, and I don't know why I've been looking I've been looking at the old footballs. I was just like, oh, and you can pick one up for about 60, $70.
Ouch. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, to get scuffed
Yeah.
up on the street. That's all I remember.
Yeah. See, I would always buy a football of a team I absolutely hate so I can beat it.
You could,
Kick it.
hey, we can buy the fluorescent balls for like when it snows. Not like it's any good in Sydney, but you can still buy them. The yellow Mitre Delta balls. I got so excited looking at them.
Would they work at night time as well?
Yeah, slightly when the light dims, yeah. But you could get. I saw as well on eBay. I'll bleep that out. Right, that you can get like glow in the dark footballs.
Okay.
Glow in
You
the
can play all
dark.
day and all night.
And you can get the old 60s footballs that soaks the water up like a sponge.
And when you head it, you crack your head open or something.
It's like concrete. Yeah. My dad
Oh
told me a
man.
story once that he was, where was he? He was, because he used to work for Telecom. So he was out in the field somewhere, kids were playing football, and someone kicked the ball over and here you go, mate. Like that. So my old man thought this was like early 90s. So he just went, the ball bounced. And as he went like that, they were using an old ball and he went, ball. his head just,
Wow.
yeah, came off of that
Wow.
football. Yeah. And he was like, he couldn't believe it. Or not that he's probably out of practice a few years anyway, but by that point. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So it seems like maybe that could be a topic for discussion in future podcasts where heading the football and the head
Yeah.
injuries.
CTE.
Yeah,
When I
that could be an
when
interesting topic.
when I was in junior school, I remember one of the lads kicked the ball out from goal, and I was on the halfway marker for that time. It was a lot closer, obviously, because of the age gap, age of when I was at school. But I was about 11, 12. I can't get words out at the moment. It's just T, right? And I remember heading that ball, and I saw a flash of white light. Do you know what I mean? So that's that, and they reckon that's a part of
That's
when
the
you get.
time when you stop growing hair. That was it. That's the reason.
That was it. Started there, and then it just kept. It was like it was just went. I was actually. Do you know what I've always wanted to do? Is actually grow like a Jackie Charlton comb over, right? So like, just Nick, when he watch this.
Yeah. Oh dear, I didn't expect to do that, but yeah, when is that in fashion?
Yeah, with
Well,
the
it's
same.
something you buy at a fancy dress shop. You get this Jackie Charlton thing. You just attach it here and you just bring it over.
Just and every so
Man.
often, just like, like.
Oh dear. Oh
But
man, that's funny.
anyway, yeah. Well, CTE, mate. Yeah, we can have a look into that, mate, because doing boxing and martial arts for a few years, the amount of punches and kicks to the head I took, the head in the ball was never a problem for me. But a couple of times you get hit in the head and you just see a spark of white light. And like I say, now they reckon, well, I tell you what, I live close to the water and you can hear the jet skis.
Lucky.
Yeah. You also hear the airplanes coming in and out, and sometimes it sounds like they're coming in the front room. But that's not what I'm on about. They reckon jet skis with like the with that. That's
Oh yes,
still, yeah. So
yeah. Well, talking about that, what about the runners? People running, going jogging
I don't
with
know.
not appropriate footwear, bad footwear, and hitting that concrete floor.
Yes
And they
and
say it's not
no.
good. So if you have your decent shoes to take that that constant pressure,
Yeah.
uh,
But I would
anyway,
say this, you get like certain countries that are great at marathon running, they've got 10,000 hours on their legs, they say, before anyone over here, because and this is not me taking the mickey. I've actually read this because they're always running because they live so far out places and they're always
yeah,
practicing running at an early age as well.
yeah. I
And they've
remember
got no,
Kiptanui from
yeah,
Kenya was I remember one of the commentators saying this is just it's just second nature to them, you know.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
there's no big deal, and obviously the more professional you get, then you do the strategy as well as to making your calories, not burning too many calories at the
yeah.
start, and pacing and all that sort of stuff. So yeah,
But
that's a
there's
good
also
thing.
the barefoot running thing that comes in because with like the Vibrams, but they got done for that because they gave out false information. But there's all that whole barefoot running thing.
Okay,
So
cool.
I don't know. Anyway, mate, on
Anyway,
that,
I'm gonna put my Hibernian hat on. It's
good
not been
man.
a very good start to the season. They are playing Dundee this Saturday,
Okay, cool.
and they're hoping to sign a player from Dundee. So yeah, so I'm hoping it's going to be a 1-1, at least a point at home, just to kickstart their season. Dundee are doing quite well. They've got 4 points in the Scottish Premier League at the moment.
Cool.
1-1 and drawn the other. So yes, I just hope that the Hibees get something from that game. The criticism from the fans is that there's lack of leadership in the midfield. So I think
Still. Oh, okay, in the midfield.
yeah, yeah. Mind you, look, two games against Celtic, a cup game and a league game, and the first game that they lost to St Mirren.
Yeah.
It's a tough time to be a Hibernian fan, but the league is, you don't win the league in the first few games, and hopefully they sign the right players. I think the transfer window is closing soon, so
Yeah.
they need to get a move on
Yeah.
and yeah, sign what they need to. I mean, look, they've got to be some money. Surely it has to be some money in the coffers rather than just getting loan players all the time and
Maybe
that
not.
sign a decent midfielder who's not going to get injured and just do the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not, mate. Well, hopefully. Well, you thought with Bill putting some money in, you'd think they'd have an injection of cash, but
Well,
maybe
yeah.
their books
Maybe
are
that.
tight.
Maybe they had an injection of whiskey instead. Who knows? I don't
warm,
know what
warm
happened
that
to that
cold
money,
air.
but
I don't know,
anyway,
mate. Right. Yeah.
good.
I'd say that's covered most
I
of it.
reckon that's it. Yeah, we covered what we wanted to. So yeah,
Yeah. Again, if you
hopefully next
still,
week at Cheers Bar.
yes, mate. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I've got a very busy weekend this weekend. This is why we're doing Zoom just between Matt and I. I'm working over the weekend, so taking a break from work to do this, and then yeah, hopefully Cheers Bar next week, and yeah, a new section of Cheers Bar hopefully,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
test out all the lights and cameras and see
Yeah.
what happens.
We'll see. We'll see. Till
All
next
right,
week.
till next week.
Don't forget, like and subscribe. Get those comments in, please. Yeah.
Yes,
Start telling
we
us.
promised to answer every single one of them.
Yes. All right. As
Yeah,
from now.
that's from now.
Go. All right, mate.
Go.
See you
See
next
ya.
week.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.